Yeah. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Will everyone please rise for the flag salute? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, route of egress. In the event of an emergency, all people may exit right or left from this room and proceed to an exit door. All doors will open from the inside. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Haledon Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published in the North Jersey Record Herald News, the board's official newspaper, on January 15th, 2025 and October 19th, 2025. Notices of this meeting indicating date, time, and place were posted publicly on the door of the main entrance to the school and filed with the clerk in the municipality of Haledon. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cerner? Mr. Coletta?
Here.
Ms. Quadrado?
Here.
Mr. Guzman? Mrs. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. Martinez?
Here.
And Mrs. Issa?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to go into executive session. So the public will have to leave during that time. We're expecting to be approximately 45 minutes and action will not be taken. So if you wouldn't mind stepping outside, and when we come out of executive session, you'll be called back in. Thank you.
Motion to go to.
Oh, motion to go to executive session? Moved by Mr. Coletta, seconded by Mr. Martinez. All in favor?
Aye.
And action will be taken because we're going to do our board meeting when all this is over, right?
Yes.
But not during the executive
Oh, not during
session,
it.
right?
Okay, as long as everybody's clear on that.
Right. Okay.
Mr. Coletta, any?
I've never seen this mentioned.
Hey, Jen?
Yeah.
It looks like we have so many people here.
There's chairs outside. There's chairs in the hallway.
Thanks. So that was just gonna put Jen with the what the kids said, basketball stuff.
Okay.
Oh, there must be nothing to do. They could have stayed home.
Okay, just give everybody a moment to come in and sit down. Come on in, folks.
So they were just, I wanted them a little higher.
Yeah.
But they moved up.
Andy.
I think we do.
I don't think so. Andy, I want to move the presentations. We're gonna do the VP thing first. Then I'd like to move the presentations before for the new board member stuff. Is that, we need a motion to do that, or can we just move from the agenda?
You don't need a motion for that, really, just.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think anyone will object.
Right.
Okay.
Then again.
Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We are going to begin with the appointment of board vice president. So do I have any nominations for board vice president? Mr. Martinez?
I'd like to nominate Ms. Quadrado.
Okay, Ms. Quadrado, do I have any other nominations for board vice president? Ms. Johnson?
I'd like to nominate myself.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Johnson, do we have any other nominations for board vice president? Okay, so since Ms. Quadrado is nominated first, we'll begin voting first for Ms. Quadrado. So can you do roll call, Ms. Augustin?
So this is the roll call for the vice president seat for Ms.
Quadrado.
Quadrado.
Mhm.
Okay. Mrs. Cerna?
No.
Mr. Coletta,
No.
Ms. Quadrado.
Can I vote for that?
Yeah,
Of
you can vote
course,
for yourself. Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson? No. Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mrs. Issa.
Yes. So that's 4
That's
votes.
4 votes.
So Ms. Quadrado is appointed vice president?
Yes,
Okay,
please take your seat.
okay. Congratulations, Ms. Quadrado. Okay, so, we had on the agenda next, the, interviews for the board members. We are going to actually move up the presentations. So we have 3 presentations tonight. The special ed presentation, the NJSLA assessment results, and the HIB report. So, that's really good information, and I think you'll get a lot of presentations. So we're
Yeah.
gonna move that up first,
So,
and then we'll do the
the
interviews.
board had asked about what is the soup to nuts of how a student becomes an out-of-district student. And I think it's a really good question. So we asked Mr. Roberto Mendez, our special services director the past few years, doing a lot of great things for us, to kind of give us a play-by-play of how it works. So the floor is yours, Roberto. We're gonna get the IT all set up for him.
Good evening, everybody. Let me formally introduce myself. My name is Roberto Mendez. I'm the Director of Special Services here. And I have a presentation for you, as Mr. Waka indicated, about procedures about out-of-district placement. Okay, so let me begin with our guiding bodies that support special education. I'm going to refer to the code, which is the NJAC 6A14 in special education. That is what drives all of our practices and procedures and protocols. Okay, I'm not a black and white person. I believe that there's a lot of shades of gray. But when it comes to implementing the law and programs and services, we're either implementing or we're not. If we go to B, and this is probably the only under B, I want to highlight a couple things. I'm going to get closer because my reading glasses. Okay, I want to focus on cannot, alternative, and alternative education. So when a student has a disability, we try to do what is called least restrictive environment. We offer comprehensive services in district, which I will explain and go into more detail about. But if the student's needs are so significant that we cannot service them in their home school, then by law, we can look at alternative education. And this is directly quoted from the code, okay, the New Jersey Administrative Code in special education. Under 5, when that occurs, when we've identified a student that requires a more restrictive setting, we have a list of New Jersey approved private schools for students with disabilities. Thank you. Okay. So why an out-of-district placement? We will try. We have comprehensive programs in Hilden, which I said I'll go into details in my next slides. But if their needs, and when I refer to needs, I'm talking about social, emotional, behavioral, medical, health, psychiatric, and academic. It could be a combination of all. It can be isolated. So when we look at their needs and we see that they cannot appropriately be serviced in-house or in district, then we have to look at and out-of-district placement. This is not an isolated decision. This is made by the IEP team. The IEP team consists of the child study team, school social workers, school psychologists, learning disability teacher consultant, occupational therapist, physical therapist, speech and language pathologist, our behaviorists, okay? So we are what makes the IEP team, and and besides the child study team, also we have parent consent and involvement, because they're heavily involved in this decision making. Also our teachers, which are general ed and special ed teachers, and as I mentioned before, our service related service personnel. Okay, so I'm going to go through a step by step, and I hope I clearly define our procedures of how we determine to place a student out of district. Okay, the first thing is very simple. The student has to be eligible for special education and related services under 14 different classifications, and they have to have a legal document, which is the IEP. Pretty self-explanatory. Out of district consideration, like I said, when that need that I mentioned before is supersedes what we can deliver in your home school. In the code, they refer to the LRE, which is the least restricted environment. Basically, what that means is that we have to exhaust everything in-house, supplemental aids and services, one of them, and also look at our comprehensive programs that we offer before it's justified and we have criteria and rationale for that student to go out of district. And then once that determination is made that that student qualifies for that district placement or is deemed appropriate for that district placement, the district is responsible for the tuition, because there's a tuition cost for those students that are placed out of district. Okay, so I'm gonna guide you through the step-by-step decision making, how this decision is determined. The first thing is the case manager, which is either the social worker, the school psychologist, or learning disability teacher consultant, will present their findings, okay, to the director of special services, which is me. Okay, everything also goes to the parent input. Parent is, in the known, is an active participant in this decision making. Like I said, it's not isolated. Then all our decisions are data driven based on data collection. What do I mean by that? Student observations, informal and formal. We also get our related services personnel involved. Like I said, OT, PT, speech, our behaviorists. If there's a behavioral issue, we create a behavioral plan in the IEP. So we have to look at that. That's all part of our assessment, right? Our data collection. We also review the records. I'm not going to read everything verbatim, but we're looking at the academic, the social, the emotional, the behavioral, the medical, the physical, overall data to help us make the best informed decision for that particular student. And every decision is case by case, and I want to highlight that it's individualized. Okay. We also look at, which is very important, we review the interventions, the strategies, the modifications, the accommodations that we've implemented. We have to look at, were they successful? And if they weren't, why not? We have to also give it time, frequency, and duration. We have the rule of thumb, 4 to 6 weeks per intervention. All right, and we're gathering as much data that we can in order to make the best informed decision for that student. Next slide. So then, by law, according to the code, we have to have what is called an annual review in order to assess how that student is doing. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're only meeting one time a year. We meet multiple times. I'm sorry. And this is also important, honoring LRE. What I mean by least restricted environment, all these acronyms. So when it comes to programs, in-house programs, general ed is the least restricted, right? And then you have ICR, which is in-class resource. Then you have pull-out replacement. Then you have self-contained, and then you have out of district. So least to most restricted. Okay. So we're really trying to make sure that that student is supported in district. But if based on the data, we feel that their need supersedes what we can offer in their home school, then we may have to look for that district placement. So again, exhausting all supports, right? We also have to give a rationale. In the IEP, okay, under LRE, which we were monitored, we have to identify and give a rationale and explanation as to why this particular student, right, and document all the interventions and everything that's been implemented before we consider an out-of-district placement, and that's documented in the IEP. The Director of Special Services, who I am involved directly with the case manager and the IEP team in helping this decision, I'm directly involved in all of the decision making. Then once we determine that we've exhausted everything and that particular student's needs supersedes what we can offer, we have to have an IEP with them, okay? And at that time, the parent, like I said, they're fully aware, they're informed, we give them a step-by-step guide, extremely collaborative, and we attain consent in order for them to give us permission and authority to look at out-of-district placements, right? And then what happens is we send those student records to these out-of-district schools. Typically, best practices is we identify 3, okay? And the case manager contacts that school, we send out the records, and then we conduct an intake. The case manager is the district representative, okay? And they agree, okay, on when they go visit these intakes in these schools, we'll look at the 3, and then we'll sit back at the table and we'll discuss which one do we think is the most appropriate according to the code. The code always says, what is the most appropriate setting, program for that student? And we have those concrete conversations about it. So then we identify the school the school of choice that we feel is most appropriate. Again, the IEP team makes that decision. Cost analysis. Now, I want to be very clear about that. So out-of-district tuition or schools come with a price, okay? What I want to clearly say is that we never compromise the education of that student based on that price. I want to make that very clear, okay? So there is a tuition, and we look at what that tuition is, and we try to make the best informed decision for that particular student. Once we identify the school of choice, the school deems that student is appropriate, they'll send us an acceptance letter, and then with a student contract, and that's signed, and then the student attends a school. Upon 30 days of placement, the child study team has to have a meeting with the school to make sure everything's okay, how the student is transitioning, how they're doing in the 30-day placement. Like I mentioned, 1 time per year, we do what is called the annual review meeting in order to determine whether that program is appropriate and also determine progress. We have to assess progress. And this is very important too. We're always assessing on a yearly basis whether the possibility of that student returning back to district. Every year that we have that annual review meeting, we're always asking that school, is a student ready? And what does that look like, that transition plan for that student to return back to district? And what I will tell you is last year, we successfully transitioned the student back to district. And we're constantly trying to do that. So implementation of protocol, I think I mentioned that. Now, the last bullet is something that's really something out of our control. So we have neighboring towns with students who have IEPs and they attend out-of-district schools, right? So by law, we have to offer them a comparable program. And so we can't control students coming in. And if they attend an out-of-district school, then we have to honor that placement. But again, at that annual review with the case managers, we'll always assess whether that program is still appropriate for that student. Okay, and then just finally, I just want to let you know that we were monitored last year in our practices and our procedure. And I'm very proud to say that, we met all expectations, okay? And I want to just give a shout out to our special education teachers, our general education teachers, our child study team, all our related services personnel, because without their hard work and their due diligence, this wouldn't have been attained. So I'm open to comments, questions, concerns, if you have any.
I have a question. Thank
Sure,
you so much, Mr. Mendez.
You're very welcome.
So, of our special ed students, in the school, what is the percentage of the students who ends up, ballpark, getting placed out of district of those special ed students?
Well, I mean, I'm terrible with math. I was more like an English or history. I mean, I can give you a number of how many students.
Yeah.
We have 137 students that are classified in-house, and we have 10 that go out of district. So if anybody's a math expert, you can
Okay.
come up with the percentage.
And those
Yeah.
137, they range from like the pull out, or
Correct.
like the lowest level up to self-contained?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
you run
10
the
out
gamut.
of 137.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
How much input do the parents have on picking the school?
A lot of it.
So if they can pick the most expensive or the cheapest or the middle?
No, so-
Or is it something that proceeds to the child?
So here's the thing, right? It's about compromise and the most appropriate. So going back to my one bullet about doing doing that cost analysis or being costly effective. So let's just say a concrete example, right? We're looking at 3 schools, okay? They each run, again, a cost, right? So if we identify 2, and again, I want to be very crystal clear when I say this. We will never compromise the quality of education for a student. However, if one school is more cost effective to the district, we strongly consider that.
And we're legally obligated to show a parent at least 3 schools.
We're absolutely, that's best practices,
How
yes.
many schools are in the area? Like,
In Passaic,
so they go out of the county too?
oh yeah, there's Passaic, Bergen County, Essex County. I mean, we try to narrow the transportation between a 30 and 45-minute commute because we don't want to go over that. I mean, it's not fair for a student to be on a bus that long. So we try to always target the more closest schools. Right.
Go ahead, Ms. Cordero.
Yes.
Has there ever been a comparison on the total of tuition spent on out-of-district schools versus providing the services or getting those services in our school?
That's a great question. And what I would tell you is we did a program analysis last year. And we identified, we're creating this program, program development basically. So we fortunately were able to hire a great teacher. And we have a classroom right now that targets a specific population of behaviors that's going to help us keep students in their home community, which honors least restricted environment.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Go ahead, Mr. Rowe.
How often, if ever, but I know you said we brought one back this year, is it rare to bring a student back once they're out of district placement?
Is it rare? No, it's
In
not
your
rare.
experience.
It's not rare. No, it's not rare.
How many parents do you get back to district?
Well, what I can say is I can only speak for myself. I've been, this is my 4th year here. And in my 4 years, we were able to successfully bring back 1.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much.
Sorry, just one.
I'm sorry, Mrs.
No, I
Longo.
I thought you were looking this way.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's only for the board, but you can always ask questions during the public portion. Okay, thank you, Mr.
All right,
Mendez.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the
Thank you so
opportunity.
much.
Have a good evening.
Okay,
Thank you.
If I use the mouse for my area, can I do that?
Okay. Okay, so now we will go on to the second presentation, which is the NJSLA assessment results.
Very cool. Thank you, Bill. Hopefully you will quicker. It works from over here. So the 3 things we're going to go over, the first 2 are required. The overview of our test scores or assessment scores from last year. We're going to talk about the summary of each grade in the 3 subjects through ELA, mathematics, and science. And here's what we don't have to do, but this board, during when we created our 5-year strategic plan, I think the board wisely asked, like, let's see the data of students who are here for more than a year or 2 versus students who come, because we have like probably about 26-27% transiency rate, not even including the kindergartners and the preschoolers and the 8th graders. So let's see how kids do that have been here for a while versus kids that, come and go. So we wanted to take a look at that. And then we look by program. So I'm going to run through some of these. On this slide, the first thing that I think should jump out is our ELA went up 5% overall. That's our proficiency. And what upward mobility means is there are 5 different levels you could score on this assessment. This is the percentage of students who went from one level to the next. So they went from 1 to 2, or 2 to 3, or 3 to 4, or 4 to 5. Our math went down 1%. Our math has been doing really well the last couple of years, and the upward mobility is also a negative 2% there. And I don't think you can see the science one on this slide, but on my screen, our science went up a total of 9% and a 2% upward mobility. So if I just click once, I should go to the next slide, and it worked. So this slide talks about our achievement summary by subject test level, and I'll let you guys, this is all going to be put on our website. It's all going to be emailed to our parents at the end of next week, so everyone's going to get a chance to kind of digest at their pace. But here's where we're at with ELA, with math, and with science. Our next slide is going to talk about the percent of students meeting or exceeding expectations. So in order to meet or exceed, you have to get a score of a 4 or in the 5 range group. This is the percentage of our students in these grades that have done that for ELA and math. This slide talks about our comparison with the state for English language arts. We see that the state's slightly ahead of us in all grade levels to a certain degree for all the grade levels. And then I'm just doing this on my thing as well. Our next slide is going to be, anyone can get rid of this up top, Bill? There we go. I'm having trouble trying to do it from my screen to yours. Student achievement over time. So the students in this range, these students right here are also these students right here, who are also these students right here, who are also these students right here. So we're seeing in certain grade levels, and this is what we talk about in our professional learner communities. We look to see what each grade level is doing and what each subgrade level is doing on a variety of skills. Bring this down. Our next slide is going to talk about, I wish I could see this as well as I want to. Student achievement over time for ELA, percent meeting and exceeding expectations from grade 3 to grade 4, grade 4 to 5, 5 to 6, and so on. Our next slide is our ELA achievement mobility. So this talks about the amount of students that have went from one range to the next, whether it's from red to yellow or from yellow to green, and vice versa. Now we're going to talk about our math comparison scores with the state. We see that we're slightly behind in every grade except for in 8th grade, where we actually overtake the state by about 10 points. Our next slide is our student achievement over time in math. It's the same thing that we talked about with our ELA, except these scores are for mathematics. Again, this is a 4-year comp. The students on the far right become the ones in the next column in the previous year. And you see where the data shows us there. Same thing for ELA here. Here's our math achievement mobility comparison. We see most of our students for almost all grades in ELA and math are in that yellow zone. And here's I'll give a little opine about the science test. Whenever there's a statewide test and every school district at its best is seeing, even the highest performing schools are seeing like a 20-25% pass rate, it means that the standards that the test makers are saying that they're testing us on are not the standards they're telling us to teach. There's a clear disconnect. And when you see even the highest ranking schools scoring an 8% or a 10% or a 12% efficiency rating, it shows that the test is flawed. And I also think too with HPS, especially, we kind of dove headfirst into an idea of problems-based learning or solutions-based learning with our STEM and with our science classes, where students work together collaboratively to solve problems and use resources to solve problems. Whereas this test is mostly a memorization test. So I think they're two different, and memorization does have value to a degree. But I think the college and career readiness, I think the problems and solution-based learning tasks, I know that's what I would want my son to be part of. So we're seeing that this data is what it is, but take it with a grain of salt. So now let me move down my slides to catch up. Our ELA scores by grade, the left is the students that are not meeting, the orange is the partially, the yellow is the approaching, and the ones that are meeting expectation is I guess the lime green. This is the same for grade 4, grade 5, and the dark green is the ones that are exceeding expectations. Grade 6, grade 7, grade 8. Let me catch up on my screen. So anybody can get rid of this top thing here?
Yeah, unfortunately, because you're sharing.
I can't get rid of it? All right.
Can you move it to the bottom?
Maybe. Oh, look at that. Whoever said that idea? Thank you. I've been out of the classroom for so long, it's showing. Grade 7 math, grade 8 ELA. So now we're going to look at something I think is kind of interesting, and this is the students who have been here a couple of years versus the students that are taking the test at Hailed in public for the first time. So the idea is, let's see if you give us time to work with the kid, what can we do, right? And we're seeing here the scores of our cohort population here versus the non-cohort. Scores of our cohort, non-cohort, cohort, non-cohort, cohort, non-cohort, cohort, non-cohort. And we move this now to learn how to do it. Overall, we're seeing that if you give us time to work with kids, like, we're going to be successful. Well, we're going to make inroads. We're going to get the ball rolling in a very positive direction. And the kids that we just get, of course, we're still going to do everything we can for them and work with them. And if they stay with us for a couple of years, we believe we're going to get them to a higher plateau, right? But like I said, we're at a school where, as any staff member that works here will tell you, you're going to see an email every 2 days probably saying we're welcoming these new students, or we're saying goodbye to these 4 students. And that's just the reality of being an HBS employee or an HBS teacher, right? So I think that at least gave us some peace of mind to see that. And we see this is just a subset of the cohort achievement and their growth. And again, I'll share this with every parent and all the staff, and we're going to put it on the website, so we're going to dive into it a little bit further. But Ms. Troy and Ms. Ramos, there are 2 academic coaches. They put a whole lot of elbow grease into this, and I know Ms. Polzano worked very hard on this as well. Same thing with the math cohort and their growth. We see if we have you for a while, generally speaking, you're going to see positive things.
And it should be noted that we have to test everybody, so the kids can come in a week before the test happens, and you have to test.
You're not supposed to seek according to the weekend, but I appreciate. I will echo your sentiments. I appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Polzano.
You're welcome.
Again, here's more specific minutia data about what Ms. Polzano, Ms. Troy, Ms. Ramos, and all the PLC teams. This is familiar territory to them. And now we're going to talk about, we have certain programs. We have our English Learners Program, or ELL. We have students that don't have an IEP, but they have certain accommodations. That's what the Section 504 plan is. Our special ed students mean they have an individualized learning plan. Our general ed students are our general ed students. So our ELL scores are on the left. Students that don't have an IEP, but do have certain modifications to how they're they're assessed and how they're treated and handled. Our special services population and our general education population.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Do they all take the same test? The ELLs and the special ed and the general.
To the best of my knowledge, Jen, right, is coming, and now I can ask you. Yeah, now you can talk.
Okay, so yes, now they do. Moving into this year, they will not. This week, we're field testing, the test that will be given in the spring, and it's adaptive. So it's going to be based on the child's ability, and everybody's test questions will be different. So when this data is presented next year, the correlation is gonna be very different because it's a completely different test that they're taking.
Yeah, we don't even know what that looks like per se, right? Like, we
Well,
don't-
they took a
Yeah.
small sampling of, questions just to give back to the state, but we're not getting that report back. It doesn't come back. We don't see results. We don't know what the kids are doing. It's just field testing different questions to gauge what we need those students to do.
So then it could be better, so the results, my next question was gonna be the adaptive testing. Was that gonna affect the progress that we're making? It could be better if it's adaptive, because, if it's gonna be based on their ability, they might do.
So I think the right answer is like, your train of thought's right. I think the right answer for us is IDK. We don't know really exactly what it's gonna look like or how it's gonna, correlate or compute, but I'm not at all, with that said, I don't automatically assume it's gonna be a negative for us, so I agree with that.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Again, our ELA proficiency via program. Our math proficiencies, ELL versus the accommodations versus in accordance to special services, in accordance to our general ed population. Distribution chart. And then our science. And if you really want to get a kick, look at the science statewide average. It's kind of crazy. And that's our presentation. If there's any questions, I can take them now or afterwards, or we could go to Mr. Sposato's report.
Any questions from board members?
Mike?
All right, first question, last year when we did this testing, we ended up fourth from the bottom in Passaic County. We're again below state average. Do you, in both math and English, it's great to see though that the students that are here are progressing. Do you anticipate, based on what we have here, that we are going to remain in the bottom quarter of the county, or do you think we have made improvement in that?
So the last 3 years, we've seen net positive results, and that's what I'm looking to see.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you so much, Mr. Walker. I think it's
You want your feedback?
very encouraging to see the improvement, and I think that's based on the hard work of the teachers, the administrators, and the students too. I know there's been a big
And the parents,
effort. Yeah, there's been a big effort the past couple of years to really get students on board with preparing kids for the testing, and not in terms of studying, but just getting a good night's sleep, having a good meal. So that's the students, and that's the parents and families themselves too. So really everybody's, doing a good job, and, we may not be at the top of the list, but we're improving, and that's what we want to see. We're going in the right direction. So thank you. Okay, and then I will turn it over to Mr. Sposato.
Good evening. So this is our 24-25 HIV self-assessment. Just to be clear, it has nothing to do with the number of HIVs that were filed in a year. A district essentially could have 100 complaints that were all found to be true and still theoretically get a high score. Conversely, you could have a district that gets 0 HIV complaints and have a low score. It's not about the number of HIVs being filed, it's about what a district is doing to combat HIV. So our score went up from the previous year, 65 out of 78. That's the third year in a row it's increased. I'm not going to go through the entire report because it's rather long and kind of rather cumbersome, but I'll spotlight some things I think they're important to know. So we were at 65 of 78. Essentially, the way it works is you're going to get a bunch of core components and subsets, and then it's rated 0 to 3. 0 means essentially you did nothing. The district did nothing in that area. 1 being you were below expectations or below the state requirements. 2 means you met the requirement, and 3 means you exceeded the state requirement in that area. So 4A was the one area that we increased on from a 2, which means we were meeting the state requirement. We went above and beyond. Let's roll 4A. So 4A, credit for this does not go to me. Credit for this goes to Ms. Cosgrove, our SEL counselor, who we had every district has a week of respect in October. We then doubled down our efforts in the spring with a ton of different events for the kids that touched on emotional regulation, anti-bullying, conflict resolution, information to parents being sent home through Muzoom, which I'll touch on later. But Ms. Cosgrove did an amazing job. She's a tremendous asset to this district in terms of the work she did in the spring, which was able to bring that particular score from a 2 from the previous year to a 3. I would also direct your attention to core element 7. This is an area where we were at all 3s last year. We were at all 3s the year before that, and we were at all 3s this previous year. This is in terms of the state reporting, the requirements of timelines. So we have 2 fantastic anti-bullying specialists, Ms. Villaruz, Ms. Costello. Even if someone's sick, even if we're busy, even if there's a lot going on, we never, ever, ever miss a deadline in terms of completing the report within 10 school days, in terms of having the written report to the superintendent, in terms of notifying all offenders and victims of the outcome. All right, so that is something that our 2 anti-bullying specialists, we have 10 school days. So if someone filed tomorrow, even with teachers convention, it wouldn't affect us. We'd have 10 school days. We usually have them done in half the time. All right, and that's regardless of who's out, who's sick. That is kind of a big area of pride for us in terms of, like I said, the parent files, we get back to you with the information, good or bad, offender or victim. All right, I would also direct your attention to the end in terms of the number of reports that were filed but not investigated. So like most districts, we follow the 2018 amended HIV statute. The original statute allowed essentially a parent or anybody could file an HIV complaint, and regardless of witnesses, evidence, the school would then have to investigate. So theoretically, if a parent came in tomorrow and someone filed 25 HIV complaints against 25 students, the district then had to investigate. 2018, the state changed the statute, which allows the superintendent to deny a frivolous claim, essentially a retaliatory claim, or just these kids haven't liked each other since first grade, or I don't like the one mom doesn't like another mom, and problems like that. So last year, in the previous years, we have had a few where we have denied based on lack of evidence or, lack of evidence is the major one. Last year, we had none. That was mostly due to our efforts in terms of explaining to parents the difference between bullying and conflict. 2 major things. So even if something happens that's bad, it's going to be a code of conduct issue, which means your kid pushed another kid in the playground yesterday, but they left out the fact the day before that, the other kid pushed them. So it's not so much one side, it's mutual. And that's a big issue when we meet with parents, child study team, guidance counselors, explaining to them bullying versus conflict. 2 different things. Either way, they're bad. Either way, they get handled, either code of conduct or through HIV. I would also touch upon what we've done in terms of our HIV education for students. Ms. Cosgrove, again, with all the effort she's put in terms of our initiatives, assemblies. Ms. Costello, Ms. Rome, pushing into classrooms for the younger grades. We pay for Muzoom. Muzoom is our elementary SEL curriculum. So for last year, grades K through 2, we sent children home with essentially a packet for parents with, things you can do at home to prevent bullying, conflict resolution, emotional regulation for students. I would also touch on, I would touch on, like I said, the efforts of also our teachers who are the first line of defense in letting someone know, a guidance counselor, an administrator, child study team member of something going on. Even before it gets to a 2, it's at a 1. I noticed this, immediately let the guidance counselor know, let the child study team member know, we take care of it. All right, if we find a kid in the hallway crying, we don't just say go back to class. We always meet with that student on what happened. It could be nothing, but we will never abandon a kid who gets upset in the hallway for any reason. Could have been they got an argument with their mom coming to school. We will still get them, talk to them. We will not just send them to class and say, have a good day. Okay, so just to kind of repeat, like I said, 65 of 78, we met or exceeded expectations in every category. And the big one, like I said, the reason we went up from last year was we had that second week of respect in the spring, and Ms. Cosgrove's efforts and the efforts of our guidance department and our teachers.
Thanks, Dave.
No problem.
Members have any questions for Mr. Spizzato? Okay, well, thank you so much, Mr. Spizzato, and we're so pleased that the rate has gone up, and we hope that it keeps going up.
No problem.
All righty. We get to the agenda. Those were very good presentations, and just all good information for the board to know, for the public to know. So thank you to everybody who presented. So now we are going to jump back to our board candidate interviews. So, well, during that time, the candidate who is being interviewed will sit, move up, and the other candidates will be asked to go, I think they're gonna be in the teachers' lounge? Or they're
Well,
gonna be
there's
in,
chairs outside or.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that.
okay, yeah, so while each candidate is being interviewed, and then once that candidate is done, they will be asked to go, and the next one will come in. So, we can start with, we're gonna just go down the list in the order that's here. We will start with, Terrell Hannah. So could, Mr. Hannah please, come forward, and will the other candidates please step outside? And I think we're gonna need to close the door.
Yeah. Let me just make sure all the other chairs.
Okay. So.
To that healthy fat is what you're telling us.
Okay, y'all ready?
Okay.
Alrighty, so, Mr. Hannah, thank you so much for, applying for this seat. Our board is we're gonna ask you questions. We're gonna go one by one. And we'll go from there, okay? So we're gonna just go in the order of the roll call. So, Ms. Serna, can you please begin?
Why do you want to be a board member?
I think it's good to have a voice in the communities that you live in, especially when it comes to our children, our youth. I think it's imperative for all of us to play a part, and this is one of the ways I think I can play a part in that process.
Mr. Coletta?
Can you tell us one thing that separates you from the other candidates, that you think, in your opinion, would separate you from the other candidates?
I have a passion for children. I have three. Two of my children went to the school. One actually still goes here. Not only that, my career path kind of drove me to be part of higher education, higher learning, and understanding the disciplines of managing. And I think having a great educational piece to managing kind of goes hand in hand. So that's what I would say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Quadrado?
What specific skills would you bring to the board?
Open-mindedness, going with the heart and not just an agenda, and having a voice.
Okay, Mr. Guzman?
What do you see as a role of a school board member?
To participate and help mold and guide and give direction to what we think the curriculum should be, as well as communicate well with the rest of the parents and the communities.
Okay. Mrs. Johnson?
Please describe your previous community or nonprofit experience.
Most recently, I was part of the planning and zoning board for the city of Felton, the township of Felton.
Okay, Mr. Martinez?
What areas would you like to strengthen in our district?
I think communication, curriculum, that part is my biggest priority, is education and, strengthening the curriculum.
Okay. Please describe a situation in a professional setting, so it could be paid or volunteered, in which you had to work as part of a team to overcome a challenge and bring about a successful outcome. What was the challenge? What did you and the others do, and what was the outcome?
So I would like to speak on the professional side. So I work for this small restaurant chain called Shake Shack, and I'm the director of the facilities and construction there. So one of the things me and my team had to overcome is city ordinance. So funny, because I was on the planning and zoning board to open up a restaurant in Kentucky. And so we kind of all worked together, dialed in, understand what we needed to present to the board to get approval for our drive-through concept that we were building. And we pulled from all parts. We pulled from different departments, different disciplines, worked closely with the mayor and the city to make that happen. And successfully, we were able to be granted those certifications to move forward in the project.
Thank you. Ms. Serna, would you like to ask a second question?
Are you still going from the list, right?
From the
Are you aware of the time and training commitments that it takes to be a board member?
I have an idea, so to give you a correct answer, I don't, but my schedule is flexible. So I will be a willing and present participant.
Mr. Plata?
Nothing.
Okay. Ms. Quadrado? You can ask that one if you want.
What areas would you like to strengthen in our district?
What you believe are the major strengths of our district?
What do you believe are the major strengths of our district?
Community. I think we do have a strong community base. It's a small town, big town, but we kind of seem to all know each other from passing around. I think that culminates a lot when it comes to being part of something special like the Board of Education.
Mr. Guzman?
No further questions, Madam President.
Okay. Mrs. Johnson?
Nothing further, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Martinez? Okay, and then I'll ask, if you're appointed, do you plan to run for another term for the Hailton Board of Education when this term that you're applying for has ended?
Absolutely.
Okay. So those are all the questions that we have. We're going to ask you to step outside, and then if you would like to wait around, we will, we're going to discuss it in executive session, and then we'll come back and hopefully we'll be ready to appoint two new board
Thank you
members.
very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
No, it's not.
We're asking the same question.
Yes, so everybody, you have to ask the same questions that you asked the first candidate for all of the candidates. Hello. Okay, so you jumped right in here. If you could just give me one moment. Hello, Mr. Hussein. Right. So, Mr. Hussein, thank you so much for applying for the open board seat. We are going to ask you, we're each going to ask you a couple of questions, and just answer to the best of your ability, okay? So, Ms. Coletta, please, I'm sorry, Mrs. Serna, please begin.
Why do you want to be a board member?
Right, first off, I live in 7 Bushman Avenue. My name is Lukman Hussain. I'm living there 30 years, in a corner of across the city hall. I grew my 4 kids, 4 daughters in Haldon Public School. They all graduate from the public school. The 3 graduate college already, and last one's starting college. This is the first year. And I love the Haldon Public School, and I like to, if I get the opportunity, love to serve the Board of Education member, commissioner. It is.
Thank you. Mr. Coletta?
Can you tell us one thing that you believe separates you from the other candidates for this position?
I don't know.
No, you don't?
Separate the other candidate?
No, what makes you stand out from the other
Better.
candidate?
Better. So I try to make a good, better.
Thank you. Ms. Quadrado?
Please give specific examples of your ability in interpersonal relationships and teamwork.
Yes, relationship to teamwork. I want to work with the teamwork, the all other commissioner, all other member, teacher, everyone.
Okay. Mr. Guzman?
Sir, what do you see as the role of a school board member?
I see everything is good, going good, everything. I like to involve with as a good team, as a good school. So I'm trying to get there.
Understood. Thank you.
Mrs. Johnson?
Please describe your previous community or nonprofit experience.
I serve my community lab. And right now I'm as a planning and zoning commission Board of Health. I'm serving this as a lab. I try to involve with the school commissioner also. That's why I'm interviewing with you guys today.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Martinez?
What areas would you like to strengthen in our district?
Good work. Good work. I try to do my best to work with all other.
Any specific areas in the district that you'd like to
You're gonna
strengthen?
hand on
Yes.
Prospect Park. Is in near town, Patterson, North Eldon.
Right. What I'm saying is, what would you like to strengthen here?
What would you like to improve
make
at
that- yeah,
Hilton
improve
Public
here.
School?
The education. Education, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is a
Also, sorry,
Mhm.
can I say that?
Yeah.
Also, I like to, if I get involved, I like to halal food for our student. You know, a lot of Muslim students that we like our student like our kids like the halal food. All other neighbor city, the Prospect Park, they serve I think halal food. Patterson, they serve halal food.
We do too.
Actually, Hilton Public School does offer.
food.
halal.
Absolutely.
No problem.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
We do, no problem.
Okay. So please describe a situation in a professional setting, which could be paid or volunteer, in which you had to work as part of a team to overcome a challenge and bring about a successful outcome. What was the challenge? What did you and the others do? And what was the outcome?
Work hard as my personnel with the other all member or commissioner try to bring the best effort. I put my best effort in there and try to do the good job.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Serna?
Are you aware of the time that you need to have your other board members? Do you have the time in order to be a board member?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Coletta? Oh, no, I'm sorry,
No, no
you,
problem.
yes, you went.
Thank you.
Ms. Quadrado?
What specific skills would you bring to the board?
Education. Perspective, that is the most important thing in student education. To the student good result, grade, put the grade up, I try to best.
What are your skills? What skills?
Grade, put the grade, most good grade towards the student.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Johnson, Mr. Martinez. Okay, so my second question, if you are appointed, do you plan to run for another term on the Haledon Board of Education when this term that you're applying for has ended?
Yes.
Okay, okay, and then Ms. Quadrado, please ask that other question that you asked the first candidate, which is,
What do you believe are the major strengths in our district?
The education.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
Hussein. We're going to now ask you to step outside and we will interview our
Thank you
next.
so much,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. See who's next. Okay. Yes, you have to ask, yeah.
I think
you
that's
have to
the one
see
thing
the questions,
I
yeah.
forgot to read out.
No, don't ask that other one anymore. That one, yeah, don't ask it anymore because we didn't ask the person. You can just disregard his answer from that one. Hello, Mrs. Leon, thank you so much for applying for the position of the open board seat. We're going to ask you some questions and just answer to the best of your ability.
Absolutely.
So, Ms. Serna, please begin.
Why do you want to be a board member? I want to be a board member because I believe that one of the best ways to support our children is through making the school as strong as it can possibly be. I spent a lot of time as a teacher myself, and that chapter is over, but I believe that in supporting the teacher, the administration, and supporting the school to be as strong as possible, we can create the best environment for our children.
Thank you. Mr. Coletta?
Can you tell us one thing that, in your opinion, separates yourself from the other candidates for this position?
Well, I don't know the other candidates, so that's a difficult one to answer. I have experience in the classroom. I was a teacher for a long time. I worked in administration for a while. I homeschooled my own children. So I have experience in evaluating curriculum and looking at evidence-based strategies and methods in the classroom. I have experience implementing those things and knowing what it looks like both from the inside and from the outside. And I have 2 little girls in school that mean the world to me, and making this a good place for them and supporting them and having the best way is very important.
Thank you.
And Ms. Quadrado?
What do you believe are the major strengths of our district?
Our teachers. Our teachers are incredibly skilled and compassionate. They're well trained and they're incredibly hardworking. Aside from that, I believe that the diversity in our community is just incredible. It's unfathomably incredible. The way that the community has welcomed outsiders when we moved into this town in 2018. Our neighbors came out and said hello and met us at the door. And when we decided to attend the school here, we were welcomed with open arms. I think that this community has a lot of strength to it.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Guzman?
What do you see as the role of a school board member?
The school board should be helping to create and oversee the policies that guide the school. We should not be focused on the minutia, but on the bigger picture, so that we can work to be fiscally responsible, to be ethically responsible, and to support the community that we're in.
Mrs. Johnson?
Please describe your previous community or nonprofit experience.
I sit on the board of the NJ CPM, which is the New Jersey chapter of NACPM, which is the midwifery of North America governing body. So in New Jersey, we have the NJCPM, and I'm the secretary on that board. I'm a community midwife, so I do a lot of childbirth education classes. I offer as much as possible for free in communities that do not have access to those. I'm missing something. It's a good start.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Martinez?
What areas would you like to strengthen in our district?
I would like to strengthen the support of our teachers. I would like to strengthen the cooperation between the teachers and the administration and the school board. I would like to bring a greater sense of community so that there is participation and involvement from the parents. I think that we can achieve that through greater transparency and community involvement from the board to the parents, so that they know what's being voted on and why they should take part. I think a lot of parents don't know why they should take part, and I think that we can do a better job of that.
Okay. So please describe a situation in a professional setting, paid or volunteer, in which you had to work as part of a team to overcome a challenge and bring about a successful outcome. What was the challenge? What did you and the others do? And what was the outcome?
That's a fun one. I have been recently with the other midwives in the state of New Jersey to join with legislators to pass legislation to protect birth choice in New Jersey. That has been especially challenging because there are many misunderstandings and different viewpoints on what should be protected and available for birth choice. So having many meetings and call parties and sessions to bring education to the public about why this is important to protect has been a particular challenge. Increasing participation from the communities that we are trying to serve has been an incredible challenge. We are moving and we have some momentum, even though there's a lame duck session currently. And we are very hopeful that legislation will be passed in this.
Thank you. Okay, back to Ms. Serna.
Are you aware of the time and commitment that it takes to be a school board?
I believe so.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay, let's see who has this. Quadrado.
What specific skills would you bring to the board?
I am known for being very calm and being very level-headed. I believe that I have a particular skill in finding common ground with people and being able to create relationships so that we can build from a place of common ground and trust.
My question, if you are appointed, do you plan to run for another term on the Haledon Board of Education when this term for which you are applying has ended?
If I were appointed, yes, I would run it.
Okay, that concludes our questions. Thank you, Ms. Leong. And if you please step outside and then hopefully you can wait around Okay.
Ms. Garcia.
Oh. Ms. Garcia, thank you so much for applying for this open board seat. Each of the board members is going to ask you a couple of questions and then just answer to the best of your ability. Okay, so we'll begin with Ms. Cerna.
Why do you want to be a board member? I'm very passionate about education, and so I've seen in education effective leadership and how that can impact student growth.
Okay, Mr. Coletta.
Can you tell us one thing that's unique to you that separates you from the other candidates for this position?
I don't know the other candidates, but I have experience in education and I oversee a program now. So I think I can bring my abilities to the board as well.
Thank you.
Ms. Quadrado.
What do you believe are the major strengths in our district?
Well, given the presentations today that you see an uphill of growth and continuing that is what is the primary goal, at least that's what it should be.
Mr. Guzman.
Yes, ma'am. What do you see as a role of a school board member?
A school board member enforces policies, whereas the administrators of the school, they follow that.
Understood, thank you.
Mrs. Johnson.
Please describe your previous community or nonprofit experience.
Well, with community, I have a lot of experience with community just because I'm in education now. So I see a lot of the challenges and rewards in being in education, and some of the challenges can be making sure you make a breakthrough for a child or a student. And some of the rewards is just seeing that growth.
Okay, Mr. Martinez.
What areas would you like to strengthen in our district?
Probably collaboration between the community, the parents, and the student itself, so that everybody's moving towards a positive direction.
Okay. Please describe a situation in a professional setting, paid or volunteer, in which you had to work as part of a team to overcome a challenge and bring about a successful outcome. What was the challenge? What did you and the others do? And what was the outcome?
So a challenge that I tend to see a lot in my program is what we call remediation or tutoring. If the student is falling behind, and making sure that you have all the proper resources, dedicating time to them so that you can make that progress be foreseen for that student, helping them where they are able to understand what it is that they're studying or what it is that their goal is, and making sure that you're providing all opportunities for them. And so when we tend to do that, I can see, like you see the light bulb go off. And I think that's a big reward when it comes to challenges with students overall.
Thank you. Okay, back to Ms. Cerna.
Are you aware of the time that it takes to be a school board member? Yes. You are willing to commit to it? I am willing to be dedicated and committed to it, yes.
Let's see, Ms. Quadrado.
What specific skills would you bring to the board?
I think that in my experience now, I have a lot of organizational skills, and I think I can bring that forth.
Okay. If you are appointed, do you plan to run for another term on the Hailton Board of Education when this term for which you are applying has ended?
Yes.
Okay, those are our questions. Thank you, and if you please step outside, we'll continue with the
Thank you.
interviews.
Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Mrs. Fisher. Thank you so much for applying for the position of the open board seat. Each board member is going to ask you a couple of questions and just answer to the best of your ability. Okay, so Mrs. Serna?
I'm gonna ask these two together, that way, it's kind of like.
The two that you've been asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you wanna be a board member and are you aware of the time and commitment that it takes to become?
Okay. Do you have like about half an hour? All right, why do I want to be a board member? Because I would like to continue the work that I had done here for 21 years as a former board member, 16 years as president of Manchester Regional High School as well. I spent a lot of time here in school. I had 2 children that went through Haledon and Manchester. Lifetime PTA member as well. I worked in the kindergarten, I worked in the office. I've seen every aspect of how a school is run, and I would like to continue that and help out wherever I can.
Oh, and are you aware of the time commitment?
Oh, absolutely. I've been there for that, yes.
Okay. Mr. Plata?
Can you tell us one thing that is unique to you that separates you from the other candidates?
I've got experience.
Just a little bit, right?
A little. And like I said, I would love to come back and help out wherever I can and to share my expertise on, you know, I can hit the ground running, basically, because I've had a lot of training. I've also taught classes on shared services throughout the district because that was instrumental in taking care of doing shared services with the superintendent, BA, and other aspects of the board. I don't want to take too much of your time up by saying all the other things that I've done, but I think that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, Ms. Quadrado.
What specific skills would you bring to the board?
Specific skills I would bring to the board, again, my knowledge of the workings. As a board member, I know the fact that I do not run the school, or any of us do not run the school as board members. We make sure the school is running well. We rely on our superintendent, BA, principals, to give us the information that we need and to rely on things like that.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Guzman? Go on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What do you see as a role of a school board member?
I just said to make sure that the school is run well. We don't run the school. We support our staff. We support our administrators. We make sure that everything is run well. And for our #1 priority, which is the students here at Haledon Public, they are the people that we are here for to serve them.
Okay, Mrs. Johnson?
Please describe your previous community or nonprofit experience.
Okay, I'll actually go through that again. 21 years experience as a board member. On Haledon, I was elected and then ran for Manchester successfully and became a board member there. Again, 16 years as president of the Manchester Regional High School Board of Education. Instrumental in starting shared services with the district. I, again, worked in the district and also lifetime PTA member, a parent of 2 children who came to the school
And it's very important to serve our community and to support our students and our staff.
Mr. Martinez?
What areas would you like to strengthen in our district?
I would like to strengthen our, work all together as a board, to make sure we're all on the same page, to make sure that we have the best staff for our students here. And that's what I'd like to strengthen. Our community input is very important. And to, like I say, hire the best personnel for the district.
Okay. Please describe a situation in a professional setting, paid or volunteer, in which you had to work as part of a team to overcome a challenge and bring about a successful outcome. What was the challenge? What did you and the others do? And what was the outcome?
As a board member.
It could be anything, volunteer, paid, any professional setting.
Okay. We, like I again, talking about how we were with our superintendent and how we should go about hiring somebody to do a shared service. That was very challenging because when we first talked about it at the high school and this level here in Haledon, there are a lot of people who were a little bit apprehensive about it. Our county superintendent wasn't happy about it, said we can't do it. And it's been very successful. It was very successful. We saved millions of dollars for the borough of Haledon with shared services. So that was a challenge to us. Again, a successful role that we played in that. And I think that says it all. Like I say, we do it, we are here for the students, we're here for the staff. So as long as we have a good education system here, we are an example. Believe it or not, we are an example for a lot of towns around because of our wonderful reputation with our staff, what we offer here in Haledon. So we should all be proud of that.
Thank you. Okay, so now let's see, we just have a couple more questions. Ms. Quadrado?
What do you believe are the major strengths in our district?
The major strengths of our district. Yes, no?
Did you ask this one first?
I did.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The major strengths in this district? They are our strengths. They are the ones who are molding our young students. And I give them a lot of credit, I really do. They have, a lot of them I worked with many years ago, and they're still here, and that's a testament to Haledon because, you look at a lot of districts, people, it's a revolving door. But because of them, that makes Haledon successful.
Okay, and the last question. If you are appointed, do you plan to run for another term on the Haledon Board of Education when this term for which you are applying has ended?
Oh my goodness. You're really throwing that one out there at me right now.
Right on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Is that your final answer?
I would have to think about that, but right now I'm very focused on the job at hand.
Okay, very good, thank you. So that concludes our questions. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, great.
One of the candidates may have shown.
Okay. So let's see. Next is. Is Gregory here?
Gregory,
Yes.
he's here, he's
Okay.
here, yeah. And then the other one may have shown.
Okay, let's see. I was doing on time. Okay, good evening, Mr. Williams. Thank you so much for applying for the position of the open board seat. Each board member is going to ask you some questions and just answer to the best of your ability.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Serna.
Why do you want to be a board member and do you realize the time and commitment that it takes to be a board member?
I want to be a board member because I've always liked learning and local government functions. And over half my life has been of service to the country, the military. I'm a sergeant in a local municipality for the police department. So my life has always been giving back, and I've worked in school as school resource officer. So I'll just give back to the kids, and just seeing that learning is a unique experience for myself.
Thank you, Mr. Coletta.
Can you tell us one thing unique to you that you believe separates you from the other candidates?
One thing that separates me from other candidates is I would say my experience around the world and just training and in different environments, different cultures, different people, and being able to adapt and be innovative in certain things.
Thank you.
Well,
Ms. Quadrado?
What specific skills would you bring to the board?
what specific skills to board? I would say my communication skills. I went to school for communications. I like dealing with children, and I feel like I have that niche where I can deal with children in certain different ways and reach out to them. So I don't know if the board deals with that directly, but I feel like I can have an impact in that.
Okay. Mr. Guzman?
Yeah, what do you see as the role of a school board member?
What do I see as the role of a school board member? Being able to, I guess, manage the budget, the resources that the school is given, and to disseminate it accordingly. Well,
Mrs. Johnson?
Please describe your previous community or nonprofit experience.
Well, my community experience and nonprofit probably coincide together. I'm on a nonprofit board for charity military organization that provides resources to soldiers, airmen, Marines all around the world, and we do a lot of things in conjunction with different supermarkets and different corporations to give back to troops all around the world, so that builds the morale and welfare.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Martinez?
Yes. What areas would you like to strengthen in our district?
I would have to look at the totality of what you have on your table before I can really answer that question. But I would like to put out, some innovation type of learning resources in conjunction with technology.
Okay. Please describe a situation in a professional setting, paid or volunteer, in which you had to work as part of a team to overcome a challenge and bring about a successful outcome. What was the challenge? What did you and the others do? And what was the outcome?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, sure. So please describe a situation in a professional setting, which could be paid or volunteer, in which you had to work as part of a team to overcome a challenge and bring about a successful outcome. So what was the challenge? What did you and the others do? And what was the outcome?
Okay, I'll jump into my law enforcement experience. That's what I do on a daily basis. So we had limited time to execute a search warrant with 3 different agencies coming together, and no one really had any tactical experience. So I utilized, my training from the military and just thinking on our feet, and first everybody was safe, and executed everything efficiently. success was accomplished. Search complete.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Quadrado?
What do you believe are the major strengths of our district?
Living in Haledon for over 23 years and knowing some of the teachers and board members personally, I would say probably the diversity, and I've seen it progress from when I was younger to what it is now. So those are the strengths I believe. It's the diversity and the ability to succeed.
Thank you. Okay. If you are appointed, do you plan to run for another term on the Haledon Board of Education when this term for which you are applying has ended?
Yes, I'd like to continue if I successfully meet the requirements.
Okay. All right, so those are all of our questions. Thank you so much. And if you can step outside, we're going to continue with the interviews. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have some. There might be the.
So then.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Brewington.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for applying for the open school board seat.
No problem.
Each of the board members is going to ask you a couple of questions and just answer to the best of your ability.
No problem.
Ms. Serna?
Why do you want to be a board member, and are you aware of the time and commitment that it requires?
Second part first, I'm not fully aware of the time it takes because I'm not in that position.
Yeah. 60 hours a week.
60 hours a week? No, just kidding.
Just kidding.
No problem. As long as it's online, no problem. And why I want to be a board member, I had some interest in being a board member for a few years now, but now I just decided to just take that leap and see what the process is and what it might take.
Hey, Mr. Coletta?
Can you tell us one thing that's unique to you that you believe would separate you from other candidates?
Besides me being me, I would probably say my unique ability to adapt and adjust to just about anything.
Thank you.
Ms. Quadrado?
What specific skills would you bring to the board?
On the educational side, I think I have a unique approach because one, I have children probably like the rest of us who attended from kindergarten through graduated from Manchester. But I think now is like the perfect time for somebody like me to come in and sort of learn the process, see what it takes, and get involved on a bigger scale in terms of what education looks like for not just my children, but for everybody else.
Thank you.
Mr. Guzman?
Sir, what do you see as the role of a school board member?
Again, until I'm in that position, I can't speak to what the actual role would be. But overall, just again, trying to keep the needs of the children first. Looking forward to what innovative things will come in the future, as opposed to just the status quo in terms of reading, writing, and other things, but trying to implement certain things that, for one, we didn't have growing up in education, financial literacy, how to own homes and have trust and all that stuff to kind of give a better insight to the tech side as well.
Thank you.
Mrs. Johnson?
Please describe your previous community or nonprofit experiences.
Well, I grew up in Paterson, New Jersey, where my experience in the community started when I was about 19. And I've worked with the Paterson Police Department under the tutelage of Lieutenant Sharon Easton, doing community events all across the city in a wide range of, from financial literacy to mental health to safety to drug awareness. So my community experience is pretty extensive. Also on the professional side, one of my duties as a brand consultant is in experiential marketing. So I do a lot of things in terms of educational experiences when it comes to tech. One of my biggest clients to date is Microsoft. So being able to show across the board what that would look like through different mediums, from tech to health to wellness to just about everything that the community as a whole gathers. I have a pretty deep knowledge of what it takes to be in these inner city neighborhoods in the community. So I could adjust from inside and out for what that would take to bring the real feel of what that means for the community.
Mr. Martinez?
Sure. What areas would you like to strengthen in our district?
Is that a trick question? No. I think, again, like I can't speak fully to what the position entails because I'm not in it. But as far as my expertise goes on a professional level, I think I can implement my skill set to kind of, for lack of a better word, improve just about every area. So I'm just looking forward to see what my capabilities are to improve in any area that needs to be improved.
Okay. Please describe a situation in a professional setting, paid or volunteer, in which you had to work as part of a team to overcome a challenge and bring about a successful outcome. What was the challenge? What did you and the others do? And what was the outcome?
I think just about every experience comes with some sort of challenge. So just being able to, for the most part, I've always been in sort of a leadership role when it came to it, but having to deal with just different personalities and different circumstances. It depends on what the actual challenge is, but the challenge is always more than met when it comes to getting the job done. In a specific situation, it's hard to nail down just one because there's so many. And I'm usually faced with those opportunities when I'm in a specific situation. So if the question was given in a specific way, I could answer.
Just one example.
One example is having to do a concert in bad weather, where we had artists that were missing flights and not able to make the event, but we had to, of course, do an impromptu, and because of the connections that we had, the challenge was to be able to get someone at Prudential Center in 40 minutes. And we were able to do that by opening up the Rolodex to people that we know, called in some favors to a limousine company who was able to get an artist that was actually scheduled to be in town for a different event, convinced them to come over the hours for 30 minutes and then leave. So that was one of the challenges that was met at that time due to weather.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Cordero?
What do you believe are the major strengths of our community?
The major strengths is probably the community itself. I think it's kind of start from the top. Being the mayor, the city council, the police department, the fire department, is not a one finger point person kind of thing. So I would say the strong point itself would be the community itself.
Thank you.
If you are appointed, do you plan to run for another term on the Haledon Board of Education when this term for which you are applying has ended?
Short answer, yes. But again, it would also have a lot to do with being in that position and getting in on the ground level and seeing what that would be like.
That's it for us. Thank you so much. And if you could please step outside, and we're going to discuss all of the interviews, because I believe we have concluded now.
Yes, we're concluding. There's no one else, right? That's it.
So now we are going to call an executive session so that we can discuss the candidates. So can I have a motion to move? Who is first? Mr. Martinez, second. Mr. Coletta, all in favor? Action will be taken. Back.
I know that's.
Yeah, I would say maybe between 30 minutes.
Are you gonna be after 30 minutes?
I do have
Okay, that's a good answer.
Or just make a motion to
Okay.
What are these appointments be through organization of 2026 and 1 through 2027?
No, 2026 goals.
Well, this the first one here says 2027, and I think.
No, it's, then we have to, that's revise that.
Okay.
For both of them are 2026.
Okay.
So we gotta make a motion to revise
You
that.
didn't make a motion.
That's where the confusion is.
I sent in the memo the right one, this was just an error.
Yeah, I just make a note when we're ready.
Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Until 1 year term and 1 year, 2 years.
As they're going along, I just want to point out that after we make these appointments, we still have a whole agenda to get through. You're more than welcome to,
Yeah. Okay, so thank you everyone for waiting. First and foremost, I want to thank all of the candidates. I think everybody knows, anybody who's ever been to an interview, anybody who's ever, run for something, it's hard to put yourself out there. So we really appreciate you stepping up and, considering serving on our board. It was a really hard decision. As you can tell, we were, discussing for a long, long time. We have a consensus on two positions. So can I have a motion to appoint the first board seat?
Make a motion to appoint Gregory Williams to
Second.
fire term.
Okay, moved by Mr. Coletta, seconded by Mr. Guzman. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Turner,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mrs. Issa.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Can I make a motion to appoint Mrs. Fisher to the second open position?
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Coletta, seconded by Mr. Guzman. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Turner,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Martinez,
Yes.
Mrs. Issa.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I want to just thank all of the candidates for coming in and stepping up. And, there's always an election next year, so.
We have an election this year too, right, Madam President? So everybody's come out and vote.
Yes, we do. We vote on November 4th. So Miss Augustin, the board, the candidates who are appointed, they are not going to take their seats tonight. That's correct. You'll have to be Mrs. Fisher and Mr. Williams. You have to be fingerprinted. And then if you could get in touch with Miss Augustin and she can direct you. Okay, all right. So
Madam
now,
President,
yes.
I just want to make a quick comment. I just want to say how proud I am of this board because not only did we appoint these two fine individuals out of a phenomenal slate of candidates, but we also appointed a vice president. We came to a consensus, and I'm very proud of this board team.
Unanimously.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Let's get now to the general for the board reports. Let me go down here. Okay. Okay, so can I have a motion to approve prior minutes?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Martinez. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Turner,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez, Mrs. Issa.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me find my report. Okay. Okay, well, good evening again, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. First, I want to welcome our new board members, Mrs. Fisher and Mr. Williams. I'm looking forward to working with you to advance our board, the goals of our board, and to advance our district. Secondly, I want to congratulate our new board president, Ms. Quadrado. Next, I would like to thank Motez Ramadan for his service to the Haledon Board of Education and the HPS community. We wish him the best in his future endeavors. And lastly, I want to express my hope that these last few board meetings of the school year or of the year are as productive as possible. I believe everyone wants what is best for our district, meaning for our students, teachers and staff, and parents and families. I sincerely hope that all stakeholders can work together towards that goal, and I'm committed to that. Just a quick note that because of the very full agenda that we have tonight, I asked Mr. Waka to present his report on the progress of our district strategic goals at the November meeting. So that's just a note. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Augustin.
Do you want to consider doing line item 11 here, other citizens?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. Okay, yes. Okay, so can I have a motion to open the floor to citizens on agenda items only?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Johnson, seconded by Mr. Martinez. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the floor is open to citizens on agenda items only. Mrs. Puchalowski?
Good evening. My name is Amanda Kuchelowski, and I am the president of the Hazelden Education Association. I'd like to speak on agenda item 13.14 on behalf of the HEA. To say the Hazelden Education Association is disappointed in the current Board of Education would be a gross understatement. It is clear to us that this board lacks the ability to understand their role. We started this school year with 3 special education teacher vacancies, positions that this very board budgeted for, acknowledged as essential, and approved funding to fill. Yet as of today, October 29th, these positions still remain empty. Why, you ask? Because this board voted down 2 potential new hires at the June 9th meeting and another potential new hire at the October 2nd meeting. Let me be clear. Let me remind you that the New Jersey Code of Ethics for school board members clearly states, I will vote to appoint the best qualified personnel available after consideration of the recommendation of the Chief Administrative Officer. At the present time, there are currently 24 special education students who are not receiving the services described in their IEPs. Let me repeat that, 24 students. These students depend on specialized instruction, individual attention, and consistent support to succeed. Let me remind you that the New Jersey Code of Ethics for school board members also clearly states, I will make decisions in terms of the educational welfare of children and will seek to develop and maintain public schools that meet the individual needs of all children, regardless of their ability, race, creed, sex, or social standing. Since these special education positions have been left unfilled, these students are being denied legal rights to a free and appropriate education, and our teachers, aides, and specialists are left carrying workloads that are unsustainable and unfair. What makes this situation especially troubling is that the board continues to debate their fiscal responsibilities. But let's be clear, budgeting for positions without filling them is not fiscal responsibility. It's fiscal negligence. Money set aside for student support that sits unused does not reflect wise management. It reflects a failure of leadership and follow-through. The Hazelden Education Association and the Board of Education once shared the same goal, a school where every student learns and every educator can thrive. It's disheartening that the actions of the Board of Education no longer support this goal. So tonight, I urge you to change that. Honor your role as a member of the Board of Education as stated by the New Jersey Code of Ethics. I am proud to work at Hazelden Public School. The teachers here show up every single day with professionalism and heart, and they remain committed to the students of HPS. The teachers and students deserve a board who will do the same. Thank you.
Puchalowski. Anybody else? Mr. Fisher?
Jeff Fisher, 3 Avenue C. Just 2 quick points. I want to thank Rob for an excellent presentation and also for the work that he does not only here at Hazelden, but also he really has kept our special ed program, on the right track. Hopefully tonight you'll be able to get Hazelden back on the same track. And I want to thank Superintendent Waka. Chris, for many years, I've been trying to get the state or the local to break out the cohorts and show a kid that's been here for more than 2 or 3 years. Do we have the program and the staff, and I believe we do, that can educate our kids at a high quality versus the transient nature of our population? Kids that were actually, they're coming here and like 3 months later, facing another district, another country's education. So I want to thank you for that presentation.
Thanks, Jeff.
It was very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on agenda items?
Motion to close.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Martinez, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, okay, would any board member like to comment? Okay, I just want to thank both Mrs. Puchalski and Mr. Fisher for their messages, and they are heard. Okay, moving on to, Ms. Augustin, your BA report.
No, I'll put in my notes.
Okay. All right, so my report is basically the agenda items. We met as a finance team to go over all of the items on the finance portion of the agenda in 18. So one of the things we did discuss, we clarified 18.3. I believe this was an assembly, and we wanted to make sure that it was understood that this was a suggested donation, if anything, for this particular assembly. We also talked about other potential matters, legal matters that will, will not discuss that publicly. We also discussed some items relating to the transition of some personnel positions in our central office, and we sent out a reminder about agenda tonight about the board interviews. We also noted that the school board Representative Kelly will be here in future board meetings to go over board norms. And we also had some suggestion requests for the presentations that we saw tonight, specifically the HIB one, and also the district goals one that Mr. Walker will be doing in the upcoming board meetings. And we discussed the committee update status and the assessment presentation for November 17th. And that's my report.
Thank you. Board members, any questions for Ms. Augustin? Okay. Personnel and management, Mr. Guzman.
Yes, Madam President, I just want to comment on personnel. The HEA's position is loud and clear. But I, as a long-serving board member, right now, that's about to change when Mrs. Fisher comes back on the board. But I just want to say, I have spoken to every board member personally here. No board member here wants to see anything negative or any adverse effect on our teachers. I can say that personally because I've spoken to every board member personally. I'm not speaking on behalf of the board, I'm speaking for me. Okay, each board member here wants what's best for our students especially, but also for our teachers, our staff, for everyone else. The issue here lies is the cut of funding, and we're having difficulty as to how do we move the district forward. Okay, we had a very intense executive session. We discussed a lot of things, and I would hope that you folks don't have to continue seeing us go back and forth as to how we're going to get to our destination. But we shouldn't be pointing fingers at each other, and we shouldn't be fighting. At the end of the day, we all have to stick together, meaning this board, our administration, and the HEA. And we need to keep that, Amanda, you need to have that same energy. Once the state comes and tries to cut us even more, okay, we need to stick together to fight for the state funding that this district needs. Because that's what's happening. They're gonna cut our funding, and now here we are all pointing fingers, all having all sorts of disagreements because, again, they're not funding us the way they should be funding us. So we have to fight for that state funding so we can move this district forward. Okay, so we have to stick together. Okay, so I just want to point that out. And I would hope to my fellow board members that we do stick together. We did pass a budget back in the spring. And let's try to give the superintendent what he needs to run the day-to-day operations of the school. And I know, speaking to each board member as chair personnel, again, I'm going to reiterate this, and I can't emphasize it enough. No board member here wants to see any adverse effect on any teacher or any student or anyone in our district. Again, it's just how do we get to our destination? And we were having difficulty getting through that, but I do believe that we will get it together. With that being said, I am going to, again, implore our board members to consider the items under personnel, to consider voting yes. Also, we have a report that this board asked for. Do we know the status of that report?
November 17th.
November 17th, okay. So with that being said, I look forward to November 17th, and we'll reconvene then. But I implore the board to move and approve the items on the personnel. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Sorry about that, okay. Okay, curriculum and technology, Ms. Quadrado?
I'd like to move items.
We're not moving it, we're just doing the report.
Yeah. Agenda items only.
Okay, policy, Mr. Coletta?
Agenda items only.
Okay, security and safety, Mr. Guzman?
I have nothing to report, Madam President.
Okay, community engagement, Ms. Quadrado?
Nothing to report.
Okay, finance and physical plant, Mr. Martinez?
We met on Monday, we spoke, we paid bills, and agenda items only.
Okay, state and county, Ms. Quadrado?
So I left you guys a handout on your desk in regards to the current state and county items for October 25th. I'm not gonna read through everything. I just wanna bring out some main points. In state policy news, the NJDOE announced 13.6 million in literacy grants throughout the comprehensive literacy state development program to strengthen reading initiatives statewide. Another point that I wanted to add is a new law that now requires instructions on Latino and Hispanic history and contributions across all K-12 social studies curricula. On a county level, what I want to mention besides what's there is the Passaic County Health Department and United for Prevention Coalition wrapped up a substance abuse prevention month with expanded youth engagement efforts and announced new funding opportunities expected in December. So that's what it's looking like. To look ahead in November, NJDOE will release updated school performance data and additional guidance for the fiscal year of 2020. You have more of a broken down report.
Any questions? Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Quadrado. Mr. Brown, anything for the attorney report?
Nothing to report.
Okay, so let's go back to personnel and management, Mr. Guzman.
Madam President, I would like to move items 13.1 through 13.14.
I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Martinez. Before we vote, are there any questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Turner?
I'm gonna abstain from 13.1, 13.2, no for 13.4, 5, and 6, and yes to everything else.
Mr. Coletta?
Yes to everything except 13.4. I believe that's within the scope of the current employment. No, 13.4, yes to everything else.
Ms. Quadrado?
Yes.
Mr. Guzman?
My vote is yes.
Mrs. Johnson?
I'm sorry. I have a question. For 13.1 and 13.2, where's that coming from, the ESSER fund or general fund?
ESSER fund's gone.
I'm sorry.
ESSER fund's gone. There's
I
no more
think-
ESSER fund.
I think you're saying the ESEA.
Oh, the ESSER, that's the
yeah,
title, I'm sorry,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the title funding, so if it
Yes.
says ESEA, it's title funding.
Yes, okay, and for 13.5, it saves itself, is that right? Kind of,
The certified angels?
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they
Right.
make a lot of
Okay.
money for us.
So, yes, for all, and except for 13.4. So yes.
Okay. Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Estrella?
Yes. Okay. Curriculum and technology, Ms. Quadrado.
I'd like to move items 14.1 through 14.5.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Quadrado, seconded by Mr. Martinez. Are there any questions or comments before we vote?
I have
Yes.
So the nurses service plan is something that's updated yearly?
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? Mr. Clutter?
What is the, on 14.4, what is the purpose or educational value in the trip to the American Green Wall?
So it's the 8th graders. This is where they take to have their end of the year, like the trip before they graduate.
Okay. So like how they used to do like Washington or something?
Yeah, well, you might have went there, like they want to go to the Nickelodeon place.
Okay, so any other questions or comments?
From a security perspective, I appreciate the actual date not being on the public agenda, but the date on file. Thank you very much for that.
Okay, roll call?
Mrs. Serna?
Yeah.
Mr. Coletta?
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado?
Yes.
Mr. Guzman?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
And Mrs. Issa?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, policy, Mr. Coletta,
I'd like to move 15.1.
Second.
moved by Mr. Coletta, seconded by Mr. Martinez. Before we vote, are there any questions, comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Serna?
Yes.
Mr. Coletta?
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado?
Yes.
Mr. Guzman?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez? Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
And Mrs. Issa?
Yes. Okay, finance and physical plant, Mr.
I'd
Martinez.
like to move 18.1 through 18.13.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Point 13, 18.1 through 18.13, security. Oh, no, not
No,
security,
finance.
sorry,
Finance.
finance.
Did you do security? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, we did security.
Yeah, there's-
16.1.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah. 17.
Okay,
It's the self-assessment.
so. We did security?
No,
Yeah.
no, we didn't, but I was just gonna
Oh, I
just
didn't
move
think
it
we
after we did finances. so
Okay.
Oh, I'm
we're good.
sorry, no,
That's fine, we'll
I
go back
missed
to
it,
it.
okay, security, Mr. Guzman.
Sure, first and foremost, I wanna thank, Mr. Spizzato for his presentation and for the work that, the entire team is doing as it pertains to harassment, intimidation, bullying, HIV. I would like to move item 16.1.
Moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Martinez. Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Serna?
Yes.
Mr. Coletta?
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado?
Yes.
Mr. Guzman?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
And Mrs. Issa?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now finance and physical plant, Mr. Martinez.
I'd like to move 18.1 through 18.13.
Second.
By Mr. Martinez, seconded by Mr. Coletta. Any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
This is in regards to 18.1, breaking the cycle assembly. I basically wanna know if I can attend, like, I wanna know the time. It doesn't have like a time there, if it's possible for.
And do you have any problem with a board member coming to a free assembly?
I can't think of a reason why they couldn't.
Good, so it's usually in the morning, I don't know if Lauren's here, but, we usually do it in the morning hours, so once we figure it out, I'll let you know.
Thank you. Yes.
Anybody else? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Serna?
Yes.
Mr. Coletta?
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado?
I need to abstain from 18.9 purchase order 633.0 and 600.597. Everything else, yes.
Mr. Guzman?
I just have a comment. I appreciate what Ms. Quadrado said in terms of her request to attend the break in the cycle. I think our board members should be encouraged to attend any school district sanctioned event. Again, our role is not to go there and supervise our teachers. That's Mr. Walker's role and our supervisor's roles. But I think it's important for us to see what we're voting on and what's going on. I think that's a good thing. I just want to point that out. Yeah.
Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
And Mrs. Issa?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we do have one item for new and old business, but before we go, does anybody else have anything for new and old business? Okay, so as we've been discussing for a few months now, we had some board initiatives that stemmed from the retreat. They were based on the discussions that we had during the retreat. They're not board goals, and we don't have to vote on them. They're just recommendations on best practices that would help our board work better together as a team, and in turn, advance the goals of our district, and ultimately making our school better for our students, the staff, and the HPS community. So if we all agree on the recommendations, Ms. Quadrado is going to report out on the new member onboarding, and I'm going to report out on the committee's initiative. If we all agree on the recommendations from these two initiatives, we can plan to implement the new practices in January. There was a third initiative, but we'll talk about that briefly at the end. So Ms. Quadrado, do you want to start?
Sure. So I was working with Commissioner Raphael with the onboarding for the new board members. So I did leave you guys an outline. Basically, the Heldon Board of Education onboarding framework is designed to ensure the newly elected or appointed members are well prepared, informed, and confident in their roles. This structured process promotes transparency, consistency, and collaboration by introducing members to the district policies, governance procedures, clear through orientation sessions, mentorship, and accessible resources. New board members will gain a clear understanding of their responsibilities and collective goals of the board, fostering a unified commitment to serving the students and families of Heldon with excellence. In no way is this going to override any trainings. It's not going to be trainings. It's just basic overviews of these. So there is an outline of things that we wanted to present, which would include an onboarding survey. We want to propose an orientation meet and greet, board member handbook with different content in it, board mentorship, and ethics and compliance acknowledgement. So you'll have more details in front of you.
I do have one question. Well, it's not a question, it's a comment. So if we went ahead with these, and especially a lot of these things would take some work, right? Especially like the member handbook. So that could be, an ad hoc committee that could work on that. This is going to take a little while. This would take a while to implement, to kind of develop and create and then implement it. So I just want to note that this is not something that's just going to happen like, January, the reorg meeting in January. But I really appreciate all the work that you and Mr. Martinez put into this. Are there any questions for?
No, but I forgot we have for the two new appointees, and I love Heldon pen and notebook, from the board. So
Very
thank
nice.
you again.
Thank you. Okay, great. So then I'll just go over our objectives. So the objective, the enhancement of committee structure and function. The objective was to optimize committee operations and promote accountability and clarity in board committee work. So it was Mr. Guzman, Ms. Quadrado, and I met with Mr. Waka and Ms. Augustin in August, and then again in September, to kind of talk about how we could restructure our committees and really kind of activate them so that board members could become more knowledgeable of the content area of the committees that they're on, kind of delve into it, take ownership of it, and then report out at meetings, make recommendations, discuss any questions that come up, any topics. So that was the basis of our work on this initiative. So our recommendations are, and you should also have a handout of these. At each year's reorganization meeting, the board will discuss each board committee's purpose and scope. Each committee will meet monthly. The committee meeting agenda can include anything relevant on the general meeting agenda or any other related topics. Each committee chair, in conjunction with the chief school administrator, is responsible for setting up and informing the business administrator's office of their monthly meeting schedule in January. And the committee meetings can be in person, they can be virtual, they can be both. That's very flexible. And then the committees will report out to the full board at the general meeting directly after their monthly meeting on what was discussed, including any issues or questions and subsequent recommendations. And then just I'm not gonna read the scope of all of the committees, but it's in your handout, for personnel and management, personnel policies, hiring and exiting staff, professional development. There's curriculum and technology, the materials, the activities, for policy, district policies, state policies, review of neighboring policies. That would all be, interesting topics to discuss. Security and safety, that one's kind of obvious, but, all matters pertaining to students and staff safety, as well as the security of the school campus. And then community engagement and outreach. Really, that's, to do with any activities that have to do with the community outside of the school. Events that are taking place within the community, or that affect the school, or in conjunction with the school or outside of the school, but they have to do with our students or families, all extracurricular activities. And then the finance and physical plan is all matters relating to the district's budget, including expenses, income and savings, and capital projects and improvements. So, those are our recommendations. Are there any questions on these? So, if we're all in agreement, we could start to do this in January, and we don't have to wait. I mean, if committees want to meet before, they should, and they certainly can. And the same for, the new board member onboarding. That's something that we could start, talking about or thinking about now, but it would be kind of officially beginning in January. So, and I just want to thank, the members in my committee for their input and their participation. So there was one third one, and actually that was one, there's only one member left in that group, which is Mr. Coletta, because Mr. Matsko and Mr. Ramadan were on that group and they no longer are on the board. So, and the objective of that one was to better understand and monitor student performance relative to general benchmarks. So, would anybody be interested in working with Mr. Coletta on that initiative? If not, Mr. Martinez, okay. Anybody else? Okay, so I can recirculate that charge that with some notes on it, and then if you two want to meet over, within the next couple of months and just kind of talk about it, and I would suggest using that data that Mr. Waka shared with us in July to, kind of as a starting point to see what we could do with that data and how we could use it to help us here in our district.
Madam President?
Yes.
Question. Do you anticipate any changes in our committees before the end of the year? We do have two board members coming on.
Yeah, so now that we have a full board again, I'm not looking to change any committees, but I need to put them, and I need to fill in some spots.
Wonderful.
So I'll see what, makes the most sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add, for the onboarding framework, if you look at item 3A, it's I wanted to do like a handbook. Well, we wanted to do like a handbook with our first pages of our biographies, just so that they can get to know who we are. Like when we onboard, they know who we are. So if you guys can start emailing me your biography, that'd be great.
That would be a great place to start. Yes.
If we're gonna do that, I think that it'll be prudent to put it on the website as well. Certified boards that are certified by the NJSBA, they have their bios on, so it's another check on the checkbox. Why not? If we're gonna do it, let's do it right. That's all. Just a suggestion.
Yeah. Let's start by gathering everything.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I like it for the website, but if we're gonna, like in the next few years, and then there's a new board member, we're gonna keep changing.
Yeah, it's, it's just gonna be stapled paper, we just rip it out.
Oh, okay, I thought we were doing like
Yeah.
a booklet,
No.
kind of like a union contract booklet.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, that's it. So if there are no other if there's no other new or old business.
I'd just like to let everybody at home know that elections are on November 4th. This is a non-political campaign that's happening, and we have different people that are running. So no matter who you vote for, get out and vote. That's it.
Thank you. Okay,
Can I make a motion to open the public portion, Madam President?
yes. Okay. So moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Martinez, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, do we have anybody here that would like to speak?
Seeing
Okay,
none,
do we,
motion to close.
hold on, anybody on the, online? Okay, so seeing as none, can I have a motion to close, Mr. Guzman? Seconded by Mr. Martinez, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you so much, everyone.
We got executive session.
Oh, no, we don't have to have an executive